We are live, Mr. Joe. Just a little late. That's my fault, folks. Had a visitor at the house delivering our new microwave because our old one died.
Oh, is that what they call it now?
A painful, smoky death.
Yeah, right. I think you're getting your massage over there again.
Yeah, that's exactly what was happening. Yeah, definitely. That was a quickie, though.
Yeah, that's what she said. So what do you how was your weekend?
Be more cliche, Joe?
Yeah, I know. It's just my standard bar banter from the last millennium.
My weekend. Well, how was my weekend, Joe? My weekend was working on documents for the fund. My weekend was supposed to be finishing up accounting for November for material indicators, but that didn't happen. But it needs to happen because it's distribution time, so that's exciting.
Yeah, it's a priority.
And let's see what else. Running children everywhere.
Yeah.
Took my son back to that retro arcade that he and his friends love to go to. Friend of his had his birthday there, and it's a lot of fun to see. It's like, man, it feels like I stepped right back into 1981. It's hilarious. Like
driving around in your muscle car with your three meathead buddies,
my Camaro and
when you were like 17 or 18 and chasing.
Yeah.
Well, I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. We do have female viewers, so let's.
I know, but it's not like.
Yeah, it's not like they don't know what we did when we were
talking
teenagers.
about. Yeah, it's just healthy discourse.
Yes. So watching, Bitcoin and Ethereum are having some fun today.
Yeah, it's weird because I just saw them. They started bouncing when you were doing the.
Yeah, it looks like we're getting a little bounce now, a little dead cat maybe.
But the stuff that I'm hearing from Wall Street and from New York and those areas and London is that there's huge amounts of over-the-counter trading going on in both of these, and it's been going on. So there's a lot of volume that we just don't see in the on-chain stuff. It's not recorded anywhere, but it's accumulation mode for those guys. So anybody selling is pretty much retail at this point.
Yeah, and people kind of panicking. And it's funny because, any other time up to now, I would have been like, oh, fuck, what am I going to do? And first of all, look, I don't want the prices to go down on my DeFi holdings, but I don't freak out because I just keep rolling with it and saying I'm earning more, right? I'm printing more. Yeah. If this takes a month or two to recover and come back, or 3, I don't care because I'm going to have a lot more of it. And every idiot that dives out of the ones I'm in just makes more for me. Right, because it prints more. So, I don't panic like I used to. It's kind of crazy.
It's the same with me too. I think it must be these rebase tokens, but
that's exactly it.
The wars for so long, but the first thing I looked at is I said, "Oh shit, Ohm's up, Klima's up, Fort's up, Unistal's up, Time's up, everybody's up." So when I see that, I'm like, "All right, fuck it, who gives a shit?" And I just move on. Where you're right before, because I look at the order books a lot, which I did find that cool. What was that one? Combined order book on coinlobster.com. I'm sure a lot of people
I got it open.
This.
Hold on.
But, it's a nice real-time tool that shows the movements in the order book balance continuously. If you see that right in the middle there, that's moving.
Yeah.
And you got price on the left, and I'm like,
this is awesome.
It's a really good visualization tool. And so you can see where the walls are. I mean, it doesn't go as far down as, say, maybe the material indicator stuff for Kingfisher. It's a little bit, and I haven't figured out if you can widen the band, but you can see there, where the people are starting to take positions. And then it breaks it down by exchange. So, and people know certain exchanges or do different things. But, when you look at that and then you look at let me pull up, send over the Kingfisher latest. Where is their pinned? I guess it must be. Hold on. What did I just see? Where's this one? Well, yeah, they've kind of gone to a different framework that's not as handy as the other one was. But, you know, they show the liquidation clusters in kind of like a vertical representation, whereas, you know, material indicators does a horizontal. And so, is this it? BTC perps. Yeah, let's just send this one over. Just to give an example of what they look like, I just popped it into the DeFi lunch channel.
There it is.
And you know, it's just a different way to look at it.
You got a link to that? Because I'd have to switch windows to get the image up.
Oh shit. Okay, well we'll just let it go for this point.
Okay.
I'm sure I can dig one up real fast, but I was just trying to make a quick point that well, I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong channel again. That it's different ways to look at things. And I kind of thought that this Coin Lobster one is pretty cool because it shows the real-time stuff where everybody else really shows a snapshot.
Yeah.
And so it's a good thing to do to augment like what Kingfisher says or Material or any of these people doing different types of analysis. But this one seems to bring all the exchanges into play. I don't think it has sort of the DeFi side of it blended in, but which would be kind of interesting to add that. Because
definitely
going on
that would
there.
be awesome.
But this is still
I'd
a
love
cool
to see
tool.
something like this across DeFi as well. I mean, order book's not relevant, but the trades that are happening.
Yeah, and so you know you kind of see that a little bit in the IDEX hybrid order book, where they're showing both central exchanges and decentralized exchanges, which is kind of intriguing. But it's not this type of representation. It's just around kind of bids and asks, kind of like the trades, like the trade window looks like, right? Or the order book here on the left of this window, this one in the bottom left corner. It sort of looks like that. But it has the DEX stuff in there too, which is pretty cool. So now, but just things to look at. And, and then I always look at Binance just to see what they're looking at. And so what I see, and I just do, basically do I look at the $100 order book breaks. And I just add the 5 going down, the 500 points going down of buys down to 3,400. And there's 95 million there on Binance for that. And I look at the 5 going up and I see 45 million there. So I see a 2-to-1 ratio of bids to asks. And to me, that makes me feel comfortable because I see boatloads sitting on 3,500, 3,600, so to me, that will catch just about everything.
That's awesome.
Down. So, and that's just, limit orders.
Right.
So when you then add in like the CVD stuff on market orders, oops, sorry, messed with my mic there. You kind of really see how much volume is really going on and how much support there really is there. So it's not just mine, but, I just really feel like now with all the institutional players in here that they really are creating a range here, a trading range, trying to, stabilize it, I guess.
Well, so, they're still going to do the dumps like they did this morning just to get the weak hands out and buy their Bitcoin cheap, right? So, that's just typical behavior that they do. And once there's enough of them in here, they can really control the market. I mean, which is good and bad, so.
Yeah, just at the top, just on these ones like Bitcoin and ETH, let's say.
Yeah.
But to me, what Bitcoin's supposed to be digital gold. I mean, the volatility is going to go away eventually.
Yeah.
And, and only move then when things happen in the TradeFi markets that cause the risk to concern people. And people want to, have some decoupled assets like they do with diamonds and gold and real estate and things like that to a certain extent.
Sure.
So to me, I think that players are just moving it down and buying and then moving it up and selling and moving it up in this range because it's just easy money for them.
Yeah.
It used to be the whales doing that. But what you see now is that they can't move it the same way they used to be able to move it.
Exactly.
And so stop loss hunting, it still goes on. But it was primarily whale driven back in the day. And, now it's, I think that the institutional type guys have figured that move out too. So now you see, I just don't see I think people are getting burned by that, setting stop losses and things like that. Put a position in because everybody just takes that position out instantly when it clusters.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, that's just my feelings on it all. But it doesn't make me feel, again, I don't feel really nervous about anything. I mean, the only thing that makes me a tiny bit nervous is just, it's with, I mean, I think the inflation stuff is temporary, that it's just restarting the supply chain with all this pent up consumer demand that's caused most of these price, plus mainly energy costs. So I think.
So you really think it is transitory?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I looked
That's
at a JP Morgan report for next year, and they're saying boom year. And, unemployment's at like 4.1% or 4.2, and they're thinking it's going to 3.75.
Yeah.
I mean, this is all-time low employment numbers, and people are quitting their jobs in droves.
Right. I mean, the participation numbers are pretty low. I mean, it's pretty bad how much. I will say the downside is how few people are participating, which I think drives up, it drives up wages, which drives up prices, which causes more inflation. But I definitely think there's a lot of other good things happening right now.
Yeah, and also talking about big wage increases next year in the lower end of the spectrum, which I welcome, because I think that, I mean, sorry, you got to figure out how to pay these people more. And then inflation isn't as big of an issue for them.
Right.
And then fuel costs get back to normal. So all the other, Wall Street, like JP Morgan put out a big study last week talking about 2022. I don't have a link to it, but I'll dig one up for tomorrow. But it really paints a very rosy picture. So the only other issues there to me are tapering and stuff. And, interest rates are going to have to go up some. I mean, we are at wherever we are. And then what happens to the cost of capital, which is how you value equities, when you're DCFing or NPVing or whatever, what the price of a stock is. A key component of that is, the cost of capital, which is, traditionally risk-free rate before 28 was always around 6% in financial models. But, you discount at about 20 when you're doing like, discounted cash flow analysis. Those numbers, I mean, I think the last one I did, we ran it at like a 3% risk-free rate, because otherwise the numbers don't mean anything. But the point is, when the denominator goes up, as in the cost of capital goes up, i.e. interest rates go up, then the resultant goes down because the numerator stays constant. So, how much is that going to affect things? I mean, PEs are double historical value. I mean, I don't know if that's a big deal now with all the dilution in the dollar, but there's definitely issues there that need to be managed. And that worries me. But I think things like Evergrande, which everybody always gets wound up on, and the other 6 property developers that are getting ready to go down too, I kind of think that's already priced in.
Yeah, you think the big guys have already said, "Hey, this is going to happen, so we might as well." Yeah, makes sense.
And they have insurance and stuff too on a lot of this stuff, and you negotiate a settlement. But most of these bonds are already priced at like 20 cents on a dollar. So if you didn't mark it down by now, you're a fool, because you should have marked to market the price of those bonds. So I kind of think that that's just FUD that's being put out there so that everybody starts trying to sell. Bitcoin and stuff gets hunkered down, when to me, it's the time to be going more into the digital currencies.
Right.
And I think they are the hedge, but that's just my feeling. And so when I cascade that top down to like what I see here with ETH and BTC, I don't see anything overly concerning.
That's good.
In my opinion. That's just me though. I know other people have different opinions. But I tend to kind of think that, when you get a bunch of greedy people on both sides of the spectrum, it tends to kind of move when it gets to the end of that side's need.
Of course.
So, and I don't mean that in a negative way. Everybody's a little greedy, but people that do it 24/7, 365 with billions of dollars, tens of billions of dollars, it doesn't need to move that much for them to make their money and get their bonuses and do all that stuff. So
totally agree.
So I feel confident there, but the fun stuff's always going to keep pushing out, like the stuff that we talk about, like, my newest indicator is, the Klima, Ohm, that kind of stuff. And when I see that going up, when everything else is going down, that makes me feel good too.
Yep.
So I don't see anything overly concerning here. Just got to ride it out. And, for any newbies going in or any people who's gone in lately, don't go in with your whole stack ever.
Right.
You go in with a 25% of it, and then you wait.
Yep.
And you're not going to miss it. Okay. You might miss it on one, but you should be diversifying anyhow across 20. and you're not going to miss it on all of them. And if you do, it's a couple of days, and then boom, it's back up. So
Yeah,
my
totally
feeling,
agree.
my opinion.
Totally agree.
Yep.
Awesome. All right. So what else we got today? So real quick, I'll do this very quickly, but this weekend I tweeted about a friend of ours, a mutual friend, who's got about 60,000 in crypto, and he wanted he was going to sell some to pay off a vehicle lease, right? And he's buying the vehicle because it's valued like $7,000 over what his payoff is right now because of the crazy shit that's happening in the used car market, right? So I told him, I said, you can borrow against crypto. Why don't you think about doing that instead of selling your crypto? So he's like, oh crap, I completely forgot. So I pointed him towards Alchemix, and then I actually pointed him towards Rari and Olympus, because, you know, if he's in Olympus and he's staking and he borrows against the stake tokens, then he knows that he's earning Olympus. He just hasn't had a dive into DeFi yet. So it was a little bit difficult to get him off the I don't know what actually eventually happened with him. I thought he was trying to close it this weekend. I don't know what happened, but anyway, he didn't borrow against his crypto that I'm aware of. Now, that said, there were a few people that responded to the tweet I did about it saying, like, so for example, Camerate said 1/3 each in Alchemix and Rari. That way you're kind of spreading the risk, you're spreading the yield. And I thought that was a really brilliant concept to say, hey, you know, spread the loan across. You don't have to be in just one lender, right? Mm-hmm. And you can have one that's earning, one that's just a loan, you know, maybe one that's a no payments, no interest loan, whatever. So, and then you've got Alchemix, which is self-repaying, right? So I like that idea a lot. And it would be really cool to have an aggregation of something like that. So,
well, yeah, look, you know, to me, we've talked about this before, and I know you track it the same way I do, but, you know, I tend to look at how I'm consolidated across different layer ones and layer twos first.
Right.
You know, like, and that I mean, you know, Ethereum, Phantom, Avalanche, Arbitrum, Polygon, all of those, BSC. So I got a nice distribution across all the chains.
Yeah.
And then I look at the different lending protocols, and they're like Karmate, I think you said his name was, said, you know, Aave, you know, Geist, Blizzard, you know, any of the other ones, Alchemix, Liquidity, any of the ones you can borrow on, you know, diversify across those, but diversify across those on different chains too.
True.
Yeah. So, you know, one thing too about, I know a lot of, because I've mentioned Alchemix to some of my buddies too, and they're just like, you know, they're just trying to figure out Bitcoin at this point, and they see that and they're like, you know, massive WTF, and I'm like,
what the fuck?
Yeah, and I'm like, look, you know, you can look at it two ways. One is what you're saying, Brad, which is that, hey, you know, go park it, get a loan that they pay for you, and use it to pay off something else. But the other way to look at it from a risk standpoint is, okay, let's say you're sitting on 10 BTC and you believe BTC is going to 250,000 someday, but you don't know if it's next month or it's 10 years from now. And you know it's going to go up and down. You're also a little worried, shit, could this go to zero? So look at it as a hedge too. True. Don't just look at it as a revenue stream. Look at it as a way to, like, okay,
get some money out of
it. Yeah, so you got a 50% stop then, basically.
That's awesome.
If it does go to zero, you don't have to pay the loan back.
That's brilliant.
So, you know, you basically have that 50% already, so it's a cushion.
I love that.
But some you believe in. But then at the same time, you know, if you're playing it a little more aggressively, you can take that 50% you borrow and then least risky, just do stablecoin pools.
Right.
You know, and get your, we've shown you where there's 30 to 50%, you know, to 4% on stablecoin. You know, that's another hedge. So if you're getting 30 to 40% on that, you're really kind of at a guaranteed 70% hedge against your Bitcoin holdings, no matter what happens.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
That's the way I look at it. But, you know, like you said, spread across different ones, diversify risk, platform risk, protocol risk, and chain risk all at the same time.
So speaking of that, spreading it out, I started following this Mark Zeller this weekend, and he does what he calls French charts. And this guy, he does one per day, I believe is what he said. And he does like kind of the crazy Oh no, I should go back to the one I had. He does kind of the crazy round trips through all the protocols to create yield, right? So I don't know what this one is. This one is bear market strategy, boomer friendly. So this one is buy realty property into USDC, 1x a week, 73. Anyway, he does all these complex yield strategies, right? So borrowing, leveraging, and then putting back in and jumping from one chain to another. Like in that one, what did he have? He was on XDAI, he was on Avalanche, and he was on Curve, right? All for this strategy. So there's a lot of moving pieces there, and most people aren't going to do it. So there's a couple of things that come to mind. The first is, okay, this would be a cool tool to automate. And the second is, the cool thing is that it gives you a lot of opportunity to try out other chains if you try one of these experiments. So I decided this week I'm going to take some time to kind of go through some of his, and I can't find any more of his, which is really weird because I thought I saw a whole wall of his. Oh, how about I actually go to his wall instead of home? That would do it. There we go.
Okay, boomer. Not really. No, we're all.
No, it's all good. I'm not a boomer yet. I mean, I'm not a boomer. I'm
what's the one after that? For that? Is it Gen X?
I think we're Gen X.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is so weird. Maybe he stopped doing them every day.
But yeah, no, you're right. Because I remember we talked about Gelato. There's that other one for a combo that's on layer 1, where Geyser, I think does Geyser have a little bit of this too, where you can like stack these, strategies together modular wise. So then they execute in your sequence.
Yeah, but you have to do this manually, right? I mean, you could do this with something like Gelato to automate these blocks to do it. But on Geyser or wherever, you would have to be the one pulling the trigger on them.
And Gelato's running on Polygon, or is it only Ethereum?
Gelato's on Polygon, Ethereum, and I want to say Avalanche, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, you definitely want to run these on Polygon because what I was seeing when I had for a combo, or the token was combo, if you guys remember talking about that before.
Right.
There was a lot of problem with, they had a flash loan ARB product that was pretty cool, but you couldn't get it to execute in time, and you still get stuck with like $600 in gas fees, and then the transaction fails. So I think these interesting I don't know where this guy's running or person's running their stuff, but definitely you want to do it on the lower transaction fee chains.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. These are not like do this on Ethereum layer 1 over and over again. Okay, here's one. This one leverages the brand new KaiDAO protocol farm and AVAX and stablecoin holders on Avalanche and honest yield for honest work. So
I've heard a lot about that before. Where KaiDAO? Were we talking about
somebody
that?
else was talking about it? I don't know. So deposit AVAX in Aave, borrow DAI 45% LTV, 4% APR. Deposit DAI on Curve at a 6.4% APY. Wow. Deposit my farm on QDAO, 2,000% APY. So after you get the Curve, you deposit that to get that 2,000%. And then the other one is deposit AVAX on Beefy. Yeah. Borrow my KaiDAO, 65% LT. So this is the two paths, right? You're depositing AVAX. You're getting the tokens for the deposit. You take the tokens. I guess you're converting them to MAI or DAI, and then from the DAI or the MAI, you deposit on Curve at 6.4% APY, and then you take the tokens from that deposit into this farm at 2,000% APY on KaiDAI. This one is totally on Avalanche, which is great.
You basically borrow the money off of AVAX and stick it in the last one that's at 3,000.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, but then you miss out on the extra APY you're getting, an APR you get in these two steps, right? So here you're getting 4% and 6.4%. Here you're just getting the 6.4% zero interest. That's the borrowing, zero interest.
Yeah. I think my
anyway, fascinating guy.
Yeah, for Chi DAO, I think Mai is a stable coin
Chi
there.
DAO, thank you.
Yeah, I don't know much about. I mean, I was looking at it, but just I was looking at so many things. It looked pretty cool. It seemed like I have good people with it. But as I've seen with these other smaller DAOs, and I don't know if Chi DAO is that small, to be honest. That might be a bigger one. They seem to all go, but again, we talk about risk.
Yeah.
And you see certain things happening. Like, I saw something on Fortress they were letting people sell out, and they were meeting the liquidity out of the treasury. And so they had to shut it down and move the treasury off the books because our whale bots were like just killing them. And so they basically shut it down and they started buybacks to move it back up. But if you're in the middle of a convoluted strategy like that and somebody has to do something like that to save the integrity of the platform, that trade's not going to go.
Right.
So it's, a lot of steps, a lot of moving parts, but I like the way he's stringing these like interest chains together.
Yeah.
Which, is compounding.
It's a lot of fun.
Compounding.
I mean, it's a fun thing to do. I mean, think about what he's doing, right? He's like examining all of these different offerings and saying, okay, how do I get from F? How do I get to F from A? Right. And what's the path best? That would be a really amazing, like, it's not even a calculator, but a tool that would take like all the current, like high APY pools across multiple farms, say on one chain, and then goes out and says, here's all the potential paths you could take to get to this farm and stack APY all the way across.
Yeah. I mean, where you have almost like a, layers or floors, and you start at the top or the bottom, whatever, you work your way up, but you can pick the different options going up, and you click on the next box up, and then it shows you your potential options and a potential like tree all the way to the top.
Exactly.
Because, honestly, as we know, things like 455,000% APY, that's not going to last forever. Eventually this market's going to turn into stuff like that, like 4 and 6 and 8 and 12 and 40, and everybody's going to be like, wow, that's super cool. And you're going to come in and run a trade through that platform for, a short duration perhaps, and then exit it with whatever you get. And so I think he's doing a lot of the good groundwork for figuring out those kind of modular algorithms, so to speak.
Yeah, totally agree. Here's another guy that does that quite a bit. Route to Fi. Recommend you guys following him. Lots of cool stuff. This one is on Tomb.
I wanted to ask you, I didn't get a chance to look at that. What is Tomb? Is it 1010 or something like that?
No, I have no idea what Tomb is. I've never looked at it. Tomb Finance. So Tomb.finance. Let's take a look live.
Pulling it up too.
Yeah.
B share. What the fuck? Oh, here it is. That was it. Be careful, D Jones. Risk is 1010.
Secure connection failure. What the hell?
Just refresh because it worked for me.
Oh, I had a dot at the end. I think that was the problem. Yeah. All right. Oh, wait. Is Tomb like Grim?
It must be.
Algorithmic. No, first algorithmic stablecoin on Phantom. Pegged to the price of 1 FTM via seigniorage. Okay. So stake your Tomb FTM LP in the cemetery to earn T-share awards, and stake your earned T-share in the masonry to earn more Tomb. So a stable coin that's pegged to FTM's price. That's interesting. And in this example, he wants to do, this is a fork of Tomb. So on BSC chain, and why he thinks it's worth it. 5,800% plus 4,000 APR. The risk level is 10 out of 10.
Yeah. He says, got some DMs asking if this is a rug pull. I have no idea. Yeah.
So this is a token called Bomb that's pegged to Bitcoin. What the fuck? Who's doing that? I mean, isn't that the same as wrapped Bitcoin? I guess not, because it's 10,000 Bomb to 1 Bitcoin. It would still be the same as wrapped. I mean, you just that's really interesting.
Okay, yeah. So Bomb Money is the first fork of Tomb, and it's on BSC. But there's talk of a Tomb fork going to Avalanche, and there's a mention of Danielle. If he does it, this Tomb guys might already be moving that way though. So yeah, we got to look at these. Yeah. Tomb, Bomb, and the other one, the new one coming. So.
Well, this is interesting. He says the developer is doxxed. of BOM. And that's some serious staking rewards. So he first farms BOM/BTCB to 4,117% APR, and he's getting paid in B share. He stakes his B share for 5,947% APR. And then he's combining options 1 and 2, buy 50% BOM on PegSwap, and buy 50%. Oh, he goes into the more details here. Well, that's not bad, and that's not a lot of steps, really. I mean, if you think about it, you're creating an LP yield farm for one pair, and then you're taking the reward token and staking it for another 5,947% APR. APR, not APY, APR. What the fuck?
Jack that one up.
What's the math on that? Holy shit.
A lot.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, we're going to dig into that. Oh, this is from like December 7th. So most of this, what I'm reading here is December 7th, Pearl Harbor Day. But
I like this idea of stable coins. It's so weird to call it a stable coin.
Because
does that mean algorithmically?
Stable.
Yeah. Does it mean it's algorithmically tied to the price of Bitcoin somehow, but sometimes it gets off the peg? I mean, that's usually what you would assume when somebody says stable coin, because otherwise you can just have wrapped Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and then it's the exact same price. It's kind of like WBTC, or like when you see wrapped OM or you see staked OM token. I mean, WMemo. Those are controlled prices based on the price of OM or the price of time and the rebase rate. So what I'm curious about is what's the motivation for the peg? I guess it's the other aspects of how it functions. So in this case, first, algorithmic stablecoins. So BOM must be algorithmically tied to Bitcoin. But the question is, how are they offsetting? How are they algorithmically handling the peg on this? I mean, usually that's a buying and selling mechanism, right? So there must, we need to climb into these some more, because this looks really,
okay, so what is
pretty
this?
Fascinating.
Okay, so BOM is pegged via algorithm to a 10,000 to 1 ratio to BTC.
Right.
100,000 in BTC equals $10 BOM peg. Oh, 10,000 to 1. Okay.
Yep.
So I guess BTC goes up and down. The price of BOM goes up and down.
Right. Which is kind of cool. Although then I got to do the fucking math in my head.
Yeah, I got to really think the math through on this one.
But the question is, I guess the benefit is because it's an algo pegged token, that there are mechanisms for you to earn from for that help it maintain its peg, right? Just like anything else, LUSD, ALUSD, Frax, OM, all of them have algorithmic psychological mechanisms to push prices up and down by buying and selling or burning or whatever their particular chosen mechanism is. So in this case, I guess the interesting thing is the dynamic of maintaining the peg to BTC or maintaining the peg to FTM, how that's done. So we need to read that and understand it better. We could talk about that more in the next couple of days. And then what the opportunities are to earn from those mechanisms plus earn from the coin itself. The interesting thing is earning like whatever that comes out to be, 40,000 APY on something that's pegged to Bitcoin. That's really interesting.
Okay, so I'm on, it's bomb.money.
Okay.
And they have bonds there too. So 10,000
like old bonds? Or are bonds what control the peg?
Well, it looks like they got...
Are they their own bonds?
10,000...
You said bombs.money?
Yeah, bomb.money.
Oh, bomb.money, not bombs.
So we got 41,000 available to purchase. It looks like 10,000 BOM equals 0.7984 BTC, last hour swap price. 10,000 B bond, which is what you get resulting from the bond, I guess, is 0.8 BTC. So it looks like you're getting that difference of 0.7984 to 0.8. which is like 0.0016, is your sort of interest on the bond over whatever the holding period is.
Wow, that's interesting because now it's going to make me fucking load up the BSC wallet now, which I haven't used, and I'm going to have to dust it off.
Yeah, no, I'm going to look at this one later. I did
That's
connect
good.
just so I could see the bond prices.
All right, so thank you, Route 25, for the great alpha there. So I knew Spirit Swap had a great community, but had no fucking clue. Like I grew like 300 followers in the last 12 hours because I have an episode with Spirit Swap that's live, right? I already knew the Phantom community was pretty hardcore, and I knew the Spirit Swap community was pretty hardcore, but really had no idea. And I got to tell you, these guys, I'm so impressed with the 4 guys on this team, how they built it, why they built it, how they give back to the ecosystem on Phantom. Like they reach out to every project that launches on Phantom to say, hey, how can we help? What can we do? They are doing some amazing shit that I had to delete out of the episode to their decks coming up here in the next couple of months, which I think will propel them to be the dominant player in Phantom at the very least. They're also doing some really cool things within Spirit, their governance token. They've got some new cool projects launching. Some of the stuff they could talk about, some of the stuff they told me about, and then, you know, they asked me to remove it from the episode. So I did a little deleted alpha segment in the middle of it. Anyway, last night.
Your VIP?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. For a small fee, you can join my Telegram, Joe.
You know, I was in that one earlier. What is Spirits at right now? I mean, I still have some of it somewhere.
It's down. I mean, it was down on the total chart.
Is it below 20 cents?
Hold on, I'll tell you right now. I had it open. 0.085.
8.5 cents.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, that's a buy. I mean,
these guys, yeah, it's not advice, but these guys are really, really just, I was really blown away getting to know the all 4 team members. The cool thing is the 3 core guys started from the beginning. They all live in the same area in Seattle. 2 of them knew each other. One of them roped both of them in. One guy came out from working as a dev at a bank, was doing a blockchain project there, and joined these guys. And then the 4th guy, Nick, is somebody.
Are they all doxed? Are they all doxed?
Yeah. Okay. No, full video on the interview. I did it on YouTube and podcast.
Nice.
And then Nick is the cool stories I like. He was the one that ascended as a community guy all the way up into core team, right?
Oh, yeah,
he was working his ass off, working 18 hours a day for them. And so, but the cool thing is when they got him, they got a complete like organizational operational manager, because that's what the guy does. He's a project operations organizational guy. And that gave me a shitload of confidence. I was already confident in their ability and what they delivered, but was really blown away by how he's like, and how the team's kind of embraced organizational change to make things better and run better. Anyway, great interview. Highly recommend it. Please check it out. MissionDefi.com. If you like it, please subscribe and rate us.
There was also something else going on here. They got 135 million in value lock TVL. So that's good. Nice. A lot of these ones we look at, they got like 10, let's say.
Yeah.
But also there was a lot of stuff when their big competitor is Spooky Swap. And so there was something I read about that Danielle of Time is somehow involved in this project. Did they say anything about that?
We didn't discuss Danielle at all.
Okay.
No.
That
we talked about Andre Cronje, but because he's Phantom, but no, we didn't talk about it.
There was some big something interesting that was going on with that. I had to dig it up because it was a few months ago, or maybe it's days, weeks, months, I don't know. But this is one that I kind of liked, and I did, I have been in this a few times. I had like 18 cents and sold at 51 and 20 and sold at 40, just because I've watched this and Spooky Swap go up and down and up and down. But at this point, 8.5, I'm looking at my wallet right now on the fly because that is a steal at this point in my book.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and I had nothing but good experience with them. I thought the yields. Let me
Well,
look at
their
the
fees are
yields.
higher than Spooky Swap, and that's been kind of the bane of their existence.
Uh-huh.
And they don't want to reduce that because they don't want to reduce the value to their governance token holders, the people that are in the community making fees.
Yep.
So they have actually come up with an ingenious solution to that, and that's one of the things I can't talk about.
Okay. Got it.
But they are doing some just some really big brain shit that's really cool. So,
But you look at their farms. So if you're holding FTM, you can come in here and do, USDC FTM farm 85%. And there's a way that you can boost returns too, which is if you have a certain amount staked, I believe, of the tokens, then you can get boosted returns. I don't know what that goes. Yeah, it goes anywhere from 27% to 85% boosted. So there's ways that you can do much better. And they have MIM FTM pools at 80%, FUSDT, which is the Phantom Tether tokens, like a synthetic version for them, at 79%. So, you're not going to see like 500,000% APY, but for a good DEX with a lot of bonds and in spirit and all these other things, I actually liked it a little better than say Define, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, and they also, if you're going to buy Spirit, they also have they're part of the Olympus DAO bond system, so you could actually bond and buy Spirit at a discount. I mean, as long as it doesn't pump. But they are in the Olympus Pro system, so that they're one of the first projects to do that from Avalanche. So that's very cool. I'm really impressed with this team. Like really, really impressed with the way they're doing things, functioning. We had a really good conversation. So
yeah, I'm going to pay attention to those guys more again. I kind of got distracted, but
I found another player like Multifarm, Coin Dix.
Dick Pick.
Coin Dix. COINDIX. Actually, nice clean interface. Looks pretty good. I haven't taken a big dive into it, but I saw somebody else that was using it to talk about some APYs and APRs. Lets you do like Multifarm and the others. You do single stake, no impermanent loss, staking, whatever, and see the returns. So, stablecoin categories. Do it by chain if you want to. But overall, I like the interface. It's responsive and fast. I will see how accurate the data is, but it's pretty good.
Yeah. A couple other things. I think we're almost to one, but there was a few other things I saw that I put up here. One,
I've got some open.
I saw some Uplift news. I think that was
Corey's you know thing. What? That wasn't Uplift. Our Uplift. This is incubator called Uplift.
Okay, well, we'll ignore that.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting, the El Salvador stuff. They're getting a lot of heat over their Chivo Bitcoin wallet, not transparent enough or something. And
there were some glitches and bugs in it. Now, I read an interesting article and Twitter thread yesterday or the day before saying that the actual blockchain underneath the El Salvador Bitcoin infrastructure is Algorand, not Bitcoin.
Oh, interesting.
And that they are providing some segment of the infrastructure. But here's the weird thing, right? And this goes back to what I was ranting about last week about how shitty Algorand is at marketing. Because it's either they're shitty at marketing or they're always hiding shit. And I don't know what it is. But you can't get more out of them than fast and cheap. And so the guy who posted this is a Twitter algo guy. It was the Mooch who retweeted him, right? And I said to him, I said, the article was obviously written by somebody at Algo or somebody connected to Algo because it was like all Algo, the entire piece, nothing unbiased. But I said, look, the article obviously is saying that Algorand was part of it. But after there's like 25 paragraphs in this article, not a single bit of detail about how Algorand is providing the payment rails. I was like, is there anywhere where somebody has documented this? Like said, hey, we're Algorand. We're actually providing El Salvador's blockchain payment rails. Like, wouldn't you, if you were running a project like that, say, hey, marketing, PR, get on this shit, right? Nobody has it. Nobody could find it. I've looked everywhere. I'm like, well, again, here we are with another instance of Algorand missing the opportunity. This is big news story, this whole El Salvador Bitcoin thing. And they don't even jump on the fact that it's them supposedly underneath it. Anyway, frustrating, but I'm still hearing more and more good things about what's going on in El Salvador.
The only thing going on there is political stuff, because some people are saying that there was something going on in the wallets and people were spoofing to get the $30 in free Bitcoin multiple times. And then they tie in. So where I think the real leverage is, whether or not Bukele and they'll still, unfortunately, the Central American governments are not as strong as say we're used to. And so they have to do
that was polite.
Yeah, compromises. And so supposedly they're, trying to, I don't know what, something with MS-13.
Did you hear how he compromised on some other legislation? He sent the military. He wanted a bill to pass, and he sent the military up the stairs of El Salvador's Congress to make sure that the bill passed. So there are issues, people. This is not fantasy land. Let's be clear. This is still,
This is Central America.
Exactly.
But, in a lot of the Latin American countries, South America, Central America, the military's always played a really strong role in governing. And I'm trying to say,
are you like going for like a diplomatic appointment or something? What the fuck?
No. I'm just, I don't know, people that can line up people and bury them in ditches. I tend to try not to piss off, But the point is, yeah, I know that's funny as shit.
What the fuck? But the military in Central America often takes over countries after slaughtering everyone that was in power.
Well, okay. But I think that's, they're trying. People are trying, so it's just unfortunately when you have these post-colonial regimes, what's left, the militaries.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
To influence everything down there. And, it's funny how, Costa Rica is always a country I've loved to go to. I've been a bunch of times. And the one thing I did a bunch of Latin American studies in undergrad, the reason that country is so safe and friendly is because there wasn't a local indigenous population to enslave. So the Europeans had to do the work themselves when they showed up. And that's why you don't have these big disparities in wealth.
That's interesting.
I was looking at El Salvador a lot back in the 90s, 80s. And, it's really like, here you think we got a problem with the 1%ers? There it's like 0.00001%
right.
owns 99.99999% of the wealth.
Yeah.
And so, we're trying to, obviously everybody wants to transition to something more representative, but I think that Bitcoin and wallets and, disintermediating the exploitive relationships there by making it direct is a good start. And so, while he has to do maybe some stuff that is unsavory, I think this can actually, is the word free those populations?
Yeah. No, I definitely think having Bitcoin can actually change the way government functions there.
Yeah.
So I think that makes sense.
I think it's a good, again, me, I'm all about the baby steps and to make sure that you get the next step in place. And I think
have you watched Narcos on Netflix?
All of them. Yeah.
The Mexican one?
Oh yeah.
I'm almost done with this season and it's so good.
Are you like the last season 3 or whatever?
I'm on this season. I'm on the Mexico season where, I don't want to do spoilers for everybody else.
Is it Juarez versus
Felix and against the DEA? Let's talk about it offline. Anyway, really good. A DEA agent gets taken hostage and beaten mercilessly.
Oh yeah, that's pretty early. That's first season, I think. This is
second. I'm in sec. Last season was Colombia, wasn't it? Last season was Colombia.
Well, there's a Narcos Colombia.
Right. And this is Narcos Mexico. You mean there's more than one season of Narcos Mexico?
Oh yeah, there's 3.
Shit. I didn't know.
Yeah, you're going to be entertained for a while.
Holy crap. All right.
No, but it does show how, look, when, you have entrenched elites that do very, very well, and then you have a lot of others that don't do well and have, no education.
Yeah.
They tend to work for these groups because they get paid. And, I think Narcos Mexico starts with where they're all just setting up big weed farms and things like that. And by the time,
the giant one in the desert.
Yeah. And then by the time you get to 3, they're all on to, Colombian
I've done
products. So.
Well, we've been doing Coke. So maybe I moved into another season and didn't realize it.
Yeah, but it's a great show. I mean, but it does show the problems that are endemic down there. And, and of course the fights are all over getting it into the US.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
all right.
It's everybody's fault. But the next one I thought was kind of interesting too was that Myanmar's exiled government is using Tether as their official currency.
Oh, so, that's interesting.
Yeah, people follow that. That's another country that's been ruled by a military junta for a long time.
Yeah. And, that's great.
And so now they're using something like that. I mean, again, there's a compromise there. But, between you put in the new government that was not military, and the first thing they do is start like genociding basically Rohingya Muslims or something like that. And you're like, God, man, you're supposed to be the good guys.
Exactly.
And, what the hell? So,
yeah.
So I thought that
that's America. Look, how many times has the United States installed somebody in a country and overthrown who was there and then went, oh, fuck, he's worse. We've done that repeatedly.
Well, strong men are strong men. So, or women, exactly. Strong women, of course, too. Exactly. That was Burma.
Oh, yeah. No, we got Philippines.
Myanmar.
Yeah.
But, it's like, stability. It's like you want stability. Yeah. And unfortunately, a lot of these countries, are rife with strongman politics and
that's right.
Politics. That's pretty tricky. Also, I saw one of the big Abu Dhabi sovereign funds or state-owned investment giant Mubadala is now investing heavily in crypto and blockchain-based ecosystem, which I thought was pretty cool. And then one thing I wanted to talk for everybody else was this next one, the grants, Gitcoin DAO, whatever the heck that is. They're like incentivizing developers, and evidently you can look at these projects, grants.gdcdao.net, and you can donate to them.
Absolutely.
$5, $10.
So there's Gitcoin grants, and then there's the decentralized grants where you can just join in and create your own and let people contribute to you. Yeah. And it's very cool. They're using the Gitcoin for it, and it's smart. So what was his?
So you want to go super early stage. This is the kind of place where you come throw in $5. There's a lot of talk about airdrops and tokens for the projects, for the whole thing itself.
Yeah.
So it's a way to, get participation in there. So you're around for that. So you're kind of basically, give them $5 to match a grant or for them to match for you. You're kind of getting a little stake in that entity.
It's very cool.
Piece. So just take a look at that. Anybody who wants to diversify across a whole bunch. And that was kind of what I had today. There's other stuff we can talk about. I know I want to get back to showing more pools. But,
so this was interesting. I saw this Masari report. Did you send me this?
I might have.
NFTX. No, I think this is the one I sent you. NFTX is a marketplace liquidity protocol that facilitates buying and selling of NFTs. Collectors can deposit whole NFTs. Did we already talk about this?
I think we talked about this a little bit.
Vault and mint fungible tokens, V tokens, that represent the value of the NFT. And then V tokens can be used to purchase assets from within the vault. I want to take a deeper dive on this because it looks really cool, and I'd love to see if there's a partnership opportunity for Doki, Access, etc.
Comments. We haven't even seen these comments.
I'm talking to Enkrieg.
Okay.
Enkrieg is talking about an AI project he wants us to take a look at. So we'll definitely do that, Enkrieg. Thank you so much. Please send the link over. And if you can't post the link here for some reason, somebody said YouTube was blocking links, DM me B05 Crypto on Twitter, B05 Crypto on Twitter. I'll take a look at it as soon as I can. I am behind my friends that I keep promising you I'm going to catch up, and I have not. But
it's all those honeydews you got to take care of all the time, man.
No, I'm in deep shit with her on the honeydew list too. I'm so backed up, man. So backed up.
Say, you give her them.
Wait.
No, I wasn't saying bad. I was saying, you're working and paying for things. You get to check off some of those honeydews right away.
No, absolutely. No. I'm at the point of just fucking hiring shit to be done because.
Yeah, look, it's cheap down here.
Yeah.
Hey, look, the thing with these NFTs that I like, these staking ones, is what's the value of the NFT?
Right.
And so
how they
unfortunately, I think
they must be
like you
pegging to
said,
OpenSea.
it's there's a company called Upshot, and I think they only peg it to last sale OpenSea, not even to what the bids and asks are. And there's no subjective appraisal as to, or
Right.
to the quality of the art. Like you look at a Monet, sure there's comps, but at the same time, there's also that maybe it's worth 500 million to one person, and it could be worth $1 billion to someone else because they really like it.
Yeah.
So
but here's what I wonder is how they overcome the fraud of I make an NFT, you come in and buy it from me for $500,000 or $250,000, which is my $250,000, and then we borrow $125,000 against the value of this NFT.
Oh, come on, you're giving away our new company. That happened.
I mean, I'm sure they thought of this and they have a mechanism, but I just wonder.
That happened on, there's a lot of dialogue along that line about a play on Unicly, unic.ly, UNIC is the token. And it wasn't the Jordan ones. It wasn't Hashmask. There was another one up there. It was a punk play of some kind where they were setting the appraisal at that. And there was a lot of speculation that they had bought it from themselves for $5 million.
Yeah,
exactly. I don't know how that resolved, but that is a problem. And I'm looking at these comments real quick. It's you.
Here, I'm going to put this lovely comment by Nkrieg up. Not only here for alpha or stuff like that, mainly here for education and entertainment. I love listening to you. We love you listening to us. We love having you here. Thanks so much. And feel free to message me or DM me on Twitter and let me send me a link to that. Now you just earned we'll move that one right up at the top of the fucking list.
Top of the inbox.
So that's too nice. Thank you, Nkrieg.
Yeah, we kind of go to everyone. We kind of go back and forth on this because we like to do, data too, but we feel like we probably present a more composite opinion on things by just talking and bullshitting to each other and sharing war stories, basically. Yeah,
here's the question, though. You think we should have a more structured show, or this seat of the pants shit we do every day where we might sometimes sound like we planned it is our better strategy?
Well, look, we're kind of just teeing up links and talking about it, but I think maybe something I could do is just, go through or get an intern or something, but go through the pools and just get the 3 or 4 ones that look interesting on all the dexes we talk about and all.
Right.
I mean, but it's kind of, to me, I sort of feel like everything's kind of moved beyond just simple yield farming.
Yeah, I think we're past that now.
Yeah. So when you could take the tokens that you get from staking or bonding and then stake them somewhere else too and get more yield, to me, I think that's more bleeding edge than, just sitting in a, I'm in the IDEX stuff just because, I'm in there for the free rewards. But, probably when that ends, which I think was
Iman, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing it. EAMON. How do you pronounce that, Joe? Amon?
Amon, maybe.
Sorry for butchering your name, but he wrote, "Hell yeah, man! The seat of the pants is the best."
All right, good. Then we'll stick with that, because then you get some nice anecdotal stuff to,
and then we don't have to work as hard
happy hour
because we have no time.
Yeah, so we just show up like today, 5 minutes before, and it's like, "You got anything?" And I'm like, let me find some links, and you go through what we didn't talk about, throw that in there, and then from last time, and then add some new relevant stuff. So
and we just message each other we have a group we set up in Telegram where we message links to each other, so we have time to look at them before, so we're not blind. But we like Seat of the Pants. It's good. It's fun.
Yeah,
glad you like it too, man. Thank you.
Yeah, we also talk about our projects. So
yeah, we got some news coming, hopefully soon.
All this is value for a reason. Most of the time, so it's just the podcast.
Nice.
So
awesome.
It's perfect.
Awesome.
Like the stuff that
Thanks, Nkrieg.
Yeah, we're doing some stuff in El Salvador with an NFT project there that's coming in a DAO. So it's really, really kind of cool stuff that's going to feed into El Salvadoran history, but it's a real estate project. Yeah. So all the.
Got a new fund coming, which reminds me, we have got to get on a call in the next 2 nights with Dennis because I blew him off over the weekend. So let's make sure we do that.
Oh, yeah. Well, Dennis is probably listening too.
Hopefully he is. Dennis, apologies. We will touch base with you later today to set something up over the next 2 days.
Yeah, because we want to, get different groups of people in so we can cover different opportunities and, basically do what we do for ourselves for others.
Yeah.
So that's coming soon. And then, other projects we're working in different areas, just, staying busy. So I think it helps everybody to hear us just banter And it seems like we're getting, second source confirmation on that. But anyhow,
I should ask my wife to come in and give me her thoughts on
she'll be
listening
like,
to me banter.
You didn't set up the microwave yet. She's like, wasn't that what the delivery guys are supposed to do? And, whatever. But we all, I've got a 16-year-old daughter that treats me like she's my mom and whatever.
Nice.
So,
nice. Yes, you need that.
I bet. Yeah, I have banter with her a lot. She's like, did you get your booster yet? I'm like, I got another month, man. It's like, what are you talking about? So
I'm glad she's on it. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm glad everybody's liking the format, and we'll keep more coming. And let's
wrap it up.
I gotta go
now. Hey, thank you everybody for listening. Thank you for sharing it and telling your friends about it. We so appreciate it. And if you have any thoughts, ideas, what have you, I promise we will eventually get to all of them. We're just having crazy times heading into the holidays, but we will. And we have some news coming across the board. So thank you for listening. Please rate, review, thumbs up. Appreciate it. Aaron said, bullish on banter. Awesome, Aaron. We will continue to banter. Thanks. Everybody have a lovely day. And we'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care.
All right, buddy.
See you, man.
Later. All right,
Thanks.
cheers. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
All right.